Salutations! Welcome to another exciting episode of ARTiculation Radio. I am your hostess, the eternally grateful Goddess Sage. You know how we do things here at ARTiculation Radio. We will kick off the top of the day's episode by taking a quick glance at the news headlines. And today's news segment is sponsored by bepublished.org. Here are three of the headlines I saw today, Monday, July 1st, 2019, when visiting elitevaluesnews.com. In business, the SF Speed Networking for Business Professionals starts at 7 p.m. at Wish on Folsom Street in San Francisco, California. In education, conflict management training takes place at 9 a.m. at Regis, Illinois on Monroe Street in Chicago, Illinois. And in sports, it's the Greenville Drive against the Columbia Fireflies at 7:05 p.m. at Segra Park on Freed Street in Columbia, South Carolina. And those are three of the headlines I saw. How about you head on over right now and see what headlines you see?
Looking to get the latest news? Visit Elite Values. EliteValuesNews.com has all the latest news and information. Check out the headlines daily. EliteValuesNews.com for all of your latest news.
Do you want to be published? Are you looking for a high-quality, low-cost way to be published with a fast turnaround? Visit bepublished.org to publish today. www.bepublished.org. Bepublished.org. Publish today. Books, movies, and music.
Listeners, we love you, we hear you, and I am definitely glad to be here with you today on another fresh episode of ARTiculation Radio. Of course, we have for you in store a lot of great music as well as an interview with an author, the author of, I'm not going to even tell you. You know how I like to do you. I'll tell you after I play this song for you. How about that? ARTistreview.com. All artists need a platform. The Artist Review makes sure you have the one you need to put your work in front of your fans. ARTistreview.com. Artist, REVUE.com. From arranging art exhibitions to musical performances to radio interviews to so much more, the Artist Review helps your work get seen. ARTistrevue.com. ARTistreview.com. Today's episode of Articulation Radio was kicked off with Feel for Each Other by Stone Keepers. The next song you will hear will be Save Your Love for Me, that Nancy Wilson cut, done by yours truly, Goddess Sage, with Myron Mills on piano.
If you're looking for ghost writers, grant writers, technical writers, any kind of writers, go to the Writers Consortium. Their website is maryjefferson.us, MaryJefferson.us, the Writers Consortium, for all of your writing needs, proposals, grants, academic papers, whatever it is you dream of, ghostwriting. The Writers Consortium can help you achieve your goals.
On today's episode of Articulation Radio, our topic is what makes good leaders. And of course, now I personally believe that in order to be a good leader, you have to be an actual doer, because how can you guide someone on doing something that you haven't done yourself? You know, you can only teach what you know. So to be a good leader, in my opinion, you have to be a good doer. But I want to know what you think. Everyone here at Articulation Radio wants to know what you think. So head on over to our website, articulationmedia.club, and let us know your thoughts. But in the meantime, we will have on to discuss some things that he believes makes not only for a good leader, but can help you step up into whatever leadership position you have been called to step into. And this author's name is Paul Larsen. He is the author of the book. Well, as a matter of fact, in a way, I kind of want to hold it back from you and tell you later, but no, I'm going to tell you now. Find Your Voice as a Leader is the name of his book. His website, paulinlarsen.com. Head on over there right after you head over to articulationmedia.club and let us know what you believe makes for good leaders, as well as then head on over to Paul's website, paulinlarsen.com, and grab up his book. As well as, of course, look at the other things that he offers as well. Even the coaching. He has a wealth of things, and I'll get into that when he comes on. So let me go ahead while you're on paulinlarsen.com, grabbing up Find Your Voice as a Leader, and also going over to articulationmedia.club. Then I will be getting Paul on the line so that we can have him to chime in on this topic. In the meantime, going to keep the show rolling for you.
Well, yeah, you're loving her. Give it to me, babe. Yeah, darling. Wish I knew why I'm so in love with you. No one else in this world will do. Darling, please save your love for me. Run away. If I were wise, I'd run away. Like a fool in love, I stay and pray you'll save your love for me. I can feel it, even when you're not here. I can't conceal it. I really love you, my dear. And although no good So darling, help me please. Have mercy on a fool like me. I know I'm lost, but still I see. Darling, please save your love for me. I can feel it, even when you're not here. I can't conceal it. I really love you, my dear, and although no good can come from loving you, I can't do a thing. Oh, I'm so in love with you. So darling, help me please. Have mercy on a fool like me, please. I know I'm lost, but still I see. Darling, please save your love for me. You may have fun in the crowd, but for crying out loud, darling, please save your love for nobody else, just for me. Please, baby, just save your love only for me, yeah, baby. Darling, just save your love only for me, yeah, just for me. Yeah, baby, just save your love for me, for me, for me.
Weddings are expensive, but your love is worth it. Go to marryusnow.us to book the Minister of Love to officiate your wedding today. The fee is only $200 if your wedding is in the city of Chicago, and there's only a small fee to get the Minister of Love to travel outside of Chicago to your wedding location. Book the Minister of Love today. Visit marryusnow.us. That's marryusnow.us.
You are listening to Articulation Radio. Head on over to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts. Want to buy stocks, jewels, real estate, or other high-end items? Would you love to be able to contribute to charitable initiatives but cannot do these things with the money you currently have? Join Regal City Investment and Social Club, where you can pool money each month with other investors to make major purchases, give to the needy, and possibly turn a profit. www.regalcity.xyz. Become a Regal citizen today by joining Regal City Investment and Social Club. regalcity.xyz. Right after this song, which is It's Getting Hot in Here 3 by Anders Bothen, we're going to bring on the author, entrepreneur, motivational coach, international speaker, Paul Larsen. always wanted to start a business but can't seem to get it off the ground? Call 972-880-8316 for your free initial consultation with a representative from The Conglomerate, or visit theconglomerate.work today to book your consultation in person. Theconglomerate.work, TheConglomerate.work, theconglomerate.work. Call 972-880-8316 to start your new business today. Articulation Radio is extremely pleased to have on the line today Mr. Paul Larsen. He is the author of the book, Find Your Voice as a Leader, that I told you about earlier. And being that the topic of today's episode is what makes good leaders, who more perfect to have on than Paul Larsen? Paul, are you here?
I am here.
I am so thankful that you graced us with your presence today, and you know we want to pick your brain. So first off, I'll be nice and gracious and offer you the floor first for whatever it is. What is there that's on your heart and on your mind right now that you feel like your spirit is like, you got to say this? Tell them what it is that you've been led to share with them today.
That everyone has a message, Goddess Sage. Everyone needs to be honored. Everyone needs to be acknowledged. And it really just comes down to that we are all together for such a very short time physically here, that pay attention to those around you. Pay attention to yourself. And that's just top of mind for me right now.
Yes, and people, and you know that's so real, because a lot of you know that we all usually are caught up in just the day-to-day, and it's hard enough. Some people don't even adequately focus on themselves. They just go about. And so instead of just being blown about with the wind, be sure to pay attention and take note, because there are so many nuggets of wisdom all around us and from all kinds of people, and even within yourself, as he mentioned. Take note and pay attention to yourself as well. So much you can learn, as well as so much you can do. And one of the things you can do is make sure that the leader that's within you, so that you can help other people find the leader in them and they can keep it going, because we have to be sure that we sustain our society, keep it growing, keep it improving. And so you can't take this knowledge with you. And you have to be sure to express what is in you, improve what is in you, as well as make sure that other people are able to do the same and teach others. So, Paul, tell them real quick about and of course, and people, as you recall, I did explain to you how he helps you to, I would say, overcome that. He says overcome the imposter syndrome and find your voice as a leader. But I would say, just be you and make sure that you're being the true you. But tell them how a person can, I would say, actually find that courage to step into a leadership position that others have nominated them for or are encouraging them to seek, while in addition being sure that they are overcoming that imposter syndrome, being that a lot of people feel like they have to be a certain way in order to be accepted or, to seek to have the approval from the people above them.
Absolutely. Yeah, Goddess Sage, we, you said something there that was very pivotal, and that is to be sort of your true self, to be true to who you are. We live in a society which we are so fortunate to have so many resources, to have knowledge at our fingertips, to have technology at our fingertips, and to have so many different types of people that we can interact with and learn from. But we also, with the environment we live in, the world we live in, it can be also very artificial. And what happens with that, I find, both for myself, I experienced it myself, as well as the folks I work with as a coach, is that artificiality comes in and we begin to doubt ourselves, our self-doubt moat, so to speak. If you think of a moat of a castle, that moat gets larger and larger, and our drawbridge sometimes doesn't cover the moat. So the self-doubt creeps into our psyche and our minds, and we begin to doubt ourselves about, am I really confident enough to do this job? Am I smart enough to do this job? Am I a fraud in this job? Am I a fake in this job? And that's all about what imposter syndrome is. I've experienced it myself. There's different triggers we all have in today's world and through our lives, because it's usually very deep-seated. And many times something will trigger that. And many times, to what you said, it's when people take on added responsibilities or a larger role within their community. That could be at their business. It could be as a parent. It could be within their faith, their whatever organization they might be involved in. Lots of times when they take on that larger role, they begin to doubt themselves. That's when the doubt comes in. That's when that saboteur comes in.
Right.
So to your point, what you have to do is acknowledge it first. You know, as we always say, right, the very first step we have to do, as you and I just talked about, is not just appreciate others, but we have to appreciate ourselves. And that requires acknowledging who we are, that level of self-awareness to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm experiencing this thought, this judgment, this feeling right now. And not to judge yourself on it, but just to say, this is what I'm feeling. Now, in order
to be honest with your feeling and not try to push it back down.
Oh, boy, you just nailed it. You just nailed it. I love it when you said push it back down. Think about that for a minute. When we push the things back down, that's trying to like push a five-letter word into a three-space crossword. We're like trying to like push things down. I call it glossing over, right? We tend to ignore it, or we tend to gloss over it. It will come back, and it will come back to bite us even harder the next time. So to acknowledge it, and that what I love to say to people is, if you've ever experienced these feelings before, congratulate yourself.
Yes.
Congratulate yourself, because you're in great company. Almost every successful person in the world that we would deem successful has experienced this feeling of being a fraud, or not being feeling out of place, or feeling like an imposter. And so you're in good, solid company. What you need to
feeling
do,
like you should stop, but don't. Go ahead.
Exactly.
What they should do is.
Oh yeah, and that's the one thing you don't want to do is exactly what you said. Don't get stuck. That's where people get stuck, and that's where they stop, and that's where their fear comes in. It's like, well, you know what? I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't have those capabilities. So something got you to where you are today. It's not coincidence. It's not fate. There is a reason you are where you are today, and you're supposed to be there in whatever role that might be in. Usually it's from our choices, it's from our decisions, it's from what we've the framework that we have created or authored in our life, right? So what I always have people do is I have people sit with themselves, and I have them list out all of their successes that got them to where they are today, sort of their success map. It doesn't gloss over their mistakes, because successes come from mistakes. Some of my best successes, right?
Right. You know, the ones we celebrate the greatest is because we know of all the trial and error it took. And, of course, in people, by trial and error, as you know, both trial and error, neither one are success. So both are failures in themselves, and it's that whole dance. But being able to enjoy it, learn from it, grow from it, and, of course, use it to reinvigorate yourself.
You use it to reinvigorate yourself. You use it to re-energize yourself. But you list out your successes, just like we'll people will have a gratitude journal, and they'll list out what they're in gratitude to. You list out your successes. What built you? What built your success pyramid to where you are today? Because again, you didn't just get into that role, whatever that role is as a leader, just by chance. So what are those successes? When people start to do that, and when they start to be very deliberate, that's a word I use all the time in coaching, and I use it in my life, which is that D word, deliberate. Yes. We need to have deliberate thoughts,
Yes.
We need to have deliberate actions, and everything we say should be very deliberate. And to what you said earlier, we go through our lives kind of being blown by the wind, and sometimes we don't even think about how we react. We don't even think about all the chats, the tweets, the likes, the posts, the texts, the emails, whatever it is. We just react. But everything we do should be very deliberate. Why are you doing what you're doing, and what's the outcome you want from that? There's always a connection. So that's what recognizing your successes do. And then as you sit in your current state, your successes come from your past to get you to current. Then we look at the future state. So the present state is kind of that connector from past to future. And then we look at the future to say, okay, what is it going to be? What is success going to look like for you in 6 months, 1 year, whatever the time frame might be for that the vision is that we work with? And what do we need to work on in order to get you there? What do you need to maybe finesse? What do you need to maybe pivot? What do you need to have courage to try on something new? Many times, including myself, many times what we have to try on differently is a new worldview, is a new judgment. Get rid of judgment. It's a new way of thinking. It's not always a behavior or skill physically. It's something that usually comes from our mind.
Right,
Imposter
because everything does start in the mind. And tell the listeners real quick about Find Your Voice as a Leader, and let them know how much it costs as well as where they can go and get it. Of course, they already know that they can head to your website, paulinlarsen.com. That's Larsen. Paul, PaulNlarsen.com. And where else can they get it? Because I'm thinking they can go anywhere in the world and pick this book up, even in a mom and pop shop in Timbuktu.
Absolutely. I've seen it in lots of different places. The easiest place to get it is on Amazon. Just head over to Amazon. It's in Kindle format, and it's in paperback format. And you can find it there.
How much is the Kindle? How much is the ebook? And how much is the paperback?
That's a very, very, very. I just had a wonderful. I started this year with some new pricing. I wanted to get it out in people's hands. So Kindle is $3.99. It's $3.99. I reduced that down from $9.99. So that is a great reduction.
Yeah, you're like barely turning a profit on that.
And you know what? To your point, that's not why I wrote the book. I didn't write the book I'm one of those authors that didn't write it to create a profit. I want to get the message out. And the paperback is $9.99. So again,
both very affordable and baseline. People, go out if you haven't already done it. Go out right now and get your copy of Find Your Voice as a Leader by Paul Larsen. And Paul, go ahead. I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, no worries. No worries at all. The voice model comes from my own experience of how I found my voice. And what I work on with voice, and it's all explained in the book in a workbook kind of format, lots of questions, some journaling, lots of great examples and case studies. But voice stands for discovering your values, which is B, establishing your outcomes, which is O, demonstrating your influential muscle, which is I, then stepping into your courage, which is C, and then finally bringing it all together and authoring your expression, which is E. So VOICE. There's activities and a nice framework that the voice model sort of follows, so that you create your leadership brand, you create your leadership legacy based on your values, your outcomes, your influence, your courage, and your overall expression. And that's what I did. That's, when I sat there and decided I needed to do something different in my life. I have a message I wanted to get out. I want to go into a different type of business. That's what I did. And so I found my voice, and that's what I followed. So I just naturally said, well, I'll just pick up the pen and write some things and get it out and see how it lands with people.
And it works beautifully because, of course, you have become an award-winning author on top of being an international speaker and motivational coach. And people now, of course, this 30 years of corporate experience is also not going to waste here. So go ahead and take advantage of that leadership voice coaching model that you'll see there on Paul's website. And Paul, before I let you go, my last question for you is, what is there that you have not had a chance to share with the listeners that you would like to be sure that they know before you go?
The one thing I just want to say is, we're all together in creating our environment, in creating our community. And find that voice. Life is too short for us not to find your voice and then use that voice for a force of good in the world. It doesn't have to be standing on stage, and it doesn't have to be traveling all over. You can do it right in your own home, right in your own neighborhood, right in your own backyard. Smile, acknowledge, extend a hand. That's all it is. We should cherish those moments we have with each other. Look up from your phone when you're walking. Make eye contact. Those are such simple things that I think we've kind of forgotten in the space that we're all in now. And that's what I have reconnected with myself and who I am, to make sure that it's very, very important that we really are just sharing who we are and just being with each other in whatever way we can be, in whatever way you're comfortable in.
Yes, I so agree, and I'm sure you all are agreeing too. Some of our listeners are probably doing like me, where they're like just melted. You've like just turned me into butter. Paul, thank you so much for taking out the time to come on and share your wisdom with us today. We definitely want more. Where can people see you next? Where's your next speaking engagement or your next appearance?
Yeah, that's, if you go to my website, as you mentioned, Paul N, as in Neil, Larsen.com, Larsen. I'll be posting some things there. I'm actually going to be I'm going to be starting a new webinar series. I just decided to do that, and it will be starting later this summer, because I want to get this message out to people that can't always travel to see me on stage. So look for that. And people can always just reach out to me. I'm very approachable. I'm very, as an introvert even, I'm very approachable. I love connecting one-on-one with people. So please, they can reach out to me. My email and all that is on my website. Do not hesitate at all. It's all about the message. It's all about creating community with each other and really recognizing each other for the positive good that we are in the world.
Yes, and that's all love, people. Pure love from the heart, baby. And go ahead and head on over right now to paulinlarsen.com and make some things happen, all right? In the meantime, be sure to stay tuned. Going to roll a couple more songs for you before we close out the episode.
Articulation Radio thanks you so much for listening. So head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. In the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling for you.
You have a product? Let them help you increase sales. You have a video? Let them help you make it go viral. Peoplewarmers.com. PeopleWarmers.com for all your advertising, marketing, and promotional needs. They also take care of events planning. Peoplewarmers.com. Visit them today.
Immediately following that interview, you heard Call Me by Mo Stax. Up next is Compromise by Matthias Andreasen.
Playing on my upgrade, reminiscing about last way. Remember that we had a big fight. Maybe words didn't come out right. I wish that I was sober, and I wish that I could call her, tell her to come over, and wish that I could hold her. If I could turn back the hands of time, turn it back and make it change your mind. If I could turn back the hands of time. Gone now. Am I on my own now? Will I walk alone now? Not sure I can move on now. Tell me I'm supposed to breathe without you. But memories like a tattoo, I can't forget about you. If I could turn back the hands of time, turn it back and make it change your mind. If I could turn back the hands of time. Baby, let me know no lies. I will promise that for life. Baby, look into my eyes. Baby, you can compromise. Baby, let me know no lies. I will promise that for life. Baby, look into my eyes. Baby, you can compromise.
Baby, you can compromise. Baby, you can compromise. Baby, you can compromise. Baby, you can compromise.
Do you frequently shop online and you're looking for a new place to shop? Join the club, JeffersonTaylor.club, where models, designers, inventors, and other creators offer customers the best products at fair prices. Jefferson Taylor, JeffersonTaylor.club. Join the club. Shop today, JeffersonTaylor.club.
Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of Articulation Radio. There is no other reason why we do this other than you. We hope that you have enjoyed today's episode, that the information you received has been something you can immediately apply, as well as you have enjoyed this great music from independent artists from around the world. We also encourage you, if you have not already gone over to articulationmedia.club, so that you can ensure your music, your ads, as well as your interview is scheduled. Be sure to do that right now. But in the meantime, thank you again for being a listener, but more importantly, Be sure that you are a doer. Keep doing whatever it is that you are called to do. Make sure that you let nothing stop you. So in other words, keep making things happen, baby. Articulation Radio. ARTiculationMedia.club.
How long have you been sitting on that manuscript? It's time to move it forward. Stop talking. Beingpublished.org. 972-880-8316.
Articulation Radio. Articulation